for certain types of form factors. Like FPS works best with keyboard and mouse.
I'm very against third person on mouse and keyboard. I think I mentioned that in the last podcast because I was playing a little bit of Enslaved Odyssey of the West on PC because I didn't have my controller in here and I just booted it up. And I was like, oh, this feels so weird using WASD to like walk around and like, because like a controller like feels normal, like you're moving in every direction, but it's like on there, you're like, you're still doing it, but it just feels weird. Yeah. And you're like,
On the other hand, I tried playing
and doing melee combat, like a hack and slash with a mouse. It's just feels wrong. Like it just doesn't feel right.
Doom 3, actually, I think I mentioned this in a previous podcast. I tried playing Doom 3 on the Xbox, and by God, I couldn't hit shit with a controller. When you get
maybe that's why I couldn't do it.
Once you get used to keyboard and mouse, it's my God, the controller is such a universal thing, but it doesn't specialize in kind of anything.
I really good for feel that like keyboard and mouse is mostly better for first person shooter games as a whole for the most part, just because of the accuracy of the mouse typically. But I will say that like the newer Doom games, I think, feel better on controller than they do keyboard and mouse. Because they're more designed for consoles than they are PC.
I can see that, for sure.
The way that they're, like, I mean, they're obviously faster, but the way that their movement is and stuff is very reminiscent of, like, Halo, where it's a bit more blocky, kind of. Like, it's still fast, and it's faster than Halo, but it's, like, it's still kind of, like, blocky, and it's not, like, really made like you're playing Quake where you're like running 100 miles an hour bunny hopping and like still somehow able to headshot something. It's not made with that much precision involved with it at all.
I beat Doom Eternal on Xbox and Stadia, and I felt so much more comfortable with the controller than when I tried playing it with a keyboard and mouse. And I was so crap with the keyboard and mouse because my skill level is not that high to be quick swapping all the time and that sort of thing. So I very much agree that when the Dark Ages comes out, I'm playing it on the TV. I might bust out the projector on the wall behind me, actually.
There's a few things that, like certain kinds of games, I just prefer to play on my TV in general. And some games, like, I prefer a keyboard and mouse, or I prefer a controller, whatever it may be. Some games I just prefer to play on, like, my Switch or something. Like, a lot of, like, roguelike games or... like top-down games and stuff, or even 2D games, I like to play on my Switch just because it just feels better that way, I feel like, than like playing a 2D game on your big TV in your living room just doesn't feel, I don't know, you don't need a cinematic experience to play Mario or Shovel Knight or something.
Well, in
the same way that you do for like, other games that are a bit more like Indiana Jones or something.
Medium, what about you?
For me, I'm getting into Left 4 Dead. I tried it with controller the first time. That didn't go well at all. But keyboard and mouse, it fits really, really nicely. I quite enjoy that.
Yeah, I think it feels better on keyboard and mouse, but I originally played it on Xbox.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I normally don't play keyboard and mouse like much at all.
Yeah.
So for keyboard and mouse to work so well for Left 4 Dead is like it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it feels really good to play Left 4 Dead on keyboard and mouse.
Why don't you just let us know kind of what the future is in terms of DROSS's roadmap?
You don't have to see anything more than a few screenshots and a few blah 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 blah. Like you can kind of see what I'm going for, and how and why and all that. Well, the thing is all I got to do is take that and then actually do it. So
fair enough.
The limitations I have to get through. That's the issue. I want thousands of enemies on screen at once, and I can do that. And I wasn't able to do that. I had to learn a lot. The GPU instancing, dots, data-oriented stack coding, stuff like that. That's all new. That's all being implemented now. And that's like crucial from the get-go, but also not needed to get to where we are now. So a lot of what I'm doing is, unfortunately, or it's necessary. I'm going back and I'm going over the basics, and I'm, making it more polished, making it better, making so it's more future-proof. So just like the demo is just like the next one should be, but behind the scenes it's radically different, and it'll probably run on a potato.
Nice.
Or maybe if you get two of them running in parallel, you might need two potatoes. But
I'm a big proponent of
one potato, two potato
games running just on anything. I love it.
Absolutely.
Somebody just put Doom on a PDF.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually I worked at a company for a little bit that sells like Husqvarna equipment and stuff, lawnmowers and stuff like that. And around that time was when they had some kind of collaboration with Doom where you could play Doom on your auto mower.
Oh no.
And there was a legit commercial, an actual commercial, Doom X Husqvarna, like showing someone sitting there playing it on the auto mower, and then it's so unpractical. Like, you just gonna sit there and play Doom while it charges, and then okay, now you can go mow my lawn. Like
that sounds all kinds of awesome, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. You can play Doom on literally anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's great.
And if it gets people talking about it, like we are,
of course. Yeah.
Hey,
but
Doom is timeless, man.
I'd say it's eternal.
I'm personally a little bit biased for Marathon myself, mind you.
Yeah,
Marathon.
I got Marathon on Steam, and I can't remember. I booted it up, and it doesn't work properly. Like, there's something, I don't know what it was, that it's like I'm about to do something to make it. It was like the whole screen was turning green, and then it was like not. It wasn't like. It was like off-centered, or I don't know what the hell was going on with it. I have to look at settings or something.
Yeah.
I grew up on the Mac, so I feel sorry for me. But there's a lot of stuff like that kind of
right.
I don't know, people just I get to experience my own little thing growing up. I still have it on CD somewhere in here.
Nice.
And like, the original Prince of Persia, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And stuff like that, but I never played Doom as much as I played Marathon, for example. And highly recommend it, especially if you get it to center on your screen.
Yeah, I still got to mess around with it, see if I can get it to work. But yeah, it's definitely something.
It's a lot of reading.
I'm fine with that.
It's all the narratives, like.
Yeah.
So you can just skip through pages and pages and pages of lore and text stuff. I have no idea what you're doing, so play it.
Yeah.
It's just me calling myself, my younger self, out.
Yeah, this sounds like me.
I'm sorry, but I'm off topic. Let me just jump back for a second.
No, don't worry about it. It's the whole point is that you're not just here to talk about, your game. You're here to socialize amongst, peers and friends.
And I'm certainly not apologizing. I'm just Canadian.
Cool.
But most important is not be limited by the amount of enemies. Not be limited by, because I'm working on with my hardware such as it is. Got to make sure that it runs and it runs well without it. Without it, essentially not running.
Yeah.
And my time frame for the whole thing is not super strict, but it's also, I intend to get it done. Like, I have this year. Then my plan is to get it pretty much all done this year. I have to learn all the netcode multiplayer stuff, but the core mechanic between, it's like not spoilers per se. But like, you go from point A to point B, that's like the core game loop right now, right?
Yeah.
But imagine, if you will, you enter a thing, the level, and something, be it an enemy you have to target, or MacGuffins you got to go and collect to like refuel the elevator to continue along. So you go out from the starting point into the levels, you return to have the epic cinematic fight at the end with the elevator there. So going from point A to point B is only one of many different level types, I guess.
Yeah.
And as I said before, or briefly mentioned, a roguelike isn't just like, your character is your character, and the world changes, but you don't. So I want it so like you can like permanently not have this gun ever again in exchange for this thing. You can take this thing, you get this upgrade, and your character will evolve. Like you played Binding of Isaac. Yes.
No.
Really?
No.
I have, yeah.
It's like that. You start with the way you are, and the way you start versus the way you end up. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Not just like you pick up an upgrade and you have more damage.
Yeah.
More health.
Right.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. Cool.